video number 8 of 67, where I am providing you with awesome content based on the questions that you are asking me on Facebook, Twitter, in my private groups, in my text messages, and all that other kind of stuff. Everybody say hi to the princess, because clearly she is the only reason why I have any following, if you ask her, right? All right. Really, Angel? Okay, thank you. I think everybody knows who you are now. Bye, everybody.
Love you guys. Bye. I gotta go to sleep. Love you.
Wow. This is what I deal with on a daily basis. All right, so this is part 3 of the fat series. What's the skinny on fat? Good fats versus bad fats, and how to use them. So in the first video, we talked about what fats are, what does it mean to have a healthy fat balance, why is it important to have healthy fat balance, where are some different sources that you can get some of these really good fats from, and all that kind of stuff. So the foundation was laid out in the very first video. So I will encourage you, if you have not watched the very first video of the what's the skinny on fat part, I would encourage you to go back and watch that video, because otherwise some of the things that I talked to you about tonight may go over your head. You may miss it if you don't already have an understanding of the foundational concepts. So that was video 1. In video 2, we talked about the low fat diet, how to create a low fat diet, when to use it, how long to use it, what are the risks associated with it, what are some things that you should be looking for, and all that other kind of stuff. So tonight, we are going to be discussing the ketogenic diet, or the high fat diet. So that way you guys have a wide range of information to use, and it's going to be super, super awesome and all that other kind of good stuff. So keto, the ketogenic diet. It is all of the craze. It is one of the crazes right now. Everybody's like, the ketogenic diet gave me abs, and so on and so on and so on and so on and so forth. What I want to do tonight is provide you with some information on exactly what the ketogenic diet is, how to use it, when to use it, and I especially want to have a conversation about some of the risks associated with utilizing this diet, especially if you're going to be utilizing it over a long period of time. All right, so what is the ketogenic diet, or what is a ketogenic diet? So a ketogenic diet is any diet that puts your body in a state of ketosis. What is ketosis? So ketosis is a metabolic process where you have elevated levels of ketones in your body. What are ketones? So this might be a little technical, and then I'll give you a short definition. So ketones are these little C carbons that are double bonded to oxygens, and they are bonded to hydrocarbon groups that are made by oxidizing an alcohol. Now, if you are not a chemistry major or a biochemistry major, you may not understand that. So I'm going to go ahead and give you an example. You know what acetone is? Acetone, I believe that's kind of the stuff that's like in nail polish remover. Think of that. Acetone is a ketone. So think about this. When you are in ketosis, you have something like acetone running through your body. Okay, that's what that means. And what happens is when your body does not have enough insulin to get glucose from your bloodstream to your cells, then your body will start to break down fat as an energy source. When the fat is broken down, then ketones are released into your bloodstream. So that is a complete definition, or as complete as I can give you right now, of what the ketogenic diet is and what exactly it means to be in ketosis. So how do you get to a state of ketosis? There's 3 different ways that you can do that. Ketosis comes from long periods of exercise, and typically that state of ketosis is very short-lived. As soon as you put some carbs back into your system, you're no longer in ketosis. You can put yourself into a state of ketosis through fasting, or through having a diet of where you're eating less than 50 grams of carbohydrates a day. Now, to give you an idea of what that looks like, that is 1 cup of low-fat yogurt. So imagine that being your 50 grams of carbs per day. Now, I'm going to show you later on how that could not be the case for you. But just to give you a short idea of it right now here in the beginning. So If you are healthy and you are not pregnant and you are not a diabetic, it should take your body roughly about 3 to 4 days to actually get into a state of ketosis. And the ketogenic diet has been seen to be effective in children with epilepsy. Short periods of the ketogenic diet has helped to decrease seizures. Some research shows that it helps, again, short periods, helps to lower the risk of heart disease. It has been seen to be helpful with type 2 diabetics. It helps with insulin resistance. And it's also been shown to help with some of the symptoms associated with metabolic syndrome. So there are also some ongoing studies right now where they are testing out the ketogenic diet with patients who are suffering from PCOS or from Lou Gehrig's disease. All right. Now, here are some of the things that you need to keep in mind if you are going to utilize this as a technique to help lose weight or to help get your body fat down. Okay. Now, as long as your blood sugar, as long as your blood glucose is within normal ranges, then you should be fine. However, when ketosis is unmanaged and you're not paying attention and you are taking ketosis to the extreme, if you will, then these ketones can build up in your body, causing a condition known as ketoacidosis. To make it short for you, it's acidity in your body caused by having a buildup of ketones. And the issue with that is that ketoacidosis can put you into a coma. And you could also die. So pay very close attention to the information that's given in this video, because we see the ketogenic diet and it's been, there's all of these PDF documents that you can download for free, 10 ways to be successful on the ketogenic diet. You're in all of these groups and everybody is like, look at how I got my abs. I got my abs on the ketogenic diet, but they're not giving you directions on exactly how to use it, how to make it effective, and how to make it safe for you as well. All right. So that's one of the things that I'm going to talk about here. All right. Now, what I want to do right now is I want to talk about some warning signs first. Okay. I want to talk about some warning signs first. I'm going to put these out here, and then from there, we're going to go into, I guess, the content that you would probably really care about, but I would hope that you would care about the front end of this as well. So consistent thirstiness, regardless of how much water you are drinking, consistent dry mouth, regardless of how much water you are drinking, excessive urination that is not a result of excessive water drinking, water consumption, right? So if you are drinking 2 gallons of water a day and you have excessive urination, well, you have excessive urination because you're drinking 2 gallons of water per day. But if you are not excessively consuming liquids, then you should not be excessively urinating. So if that is happening for you while you are on the ketogenic diet, then that is a warning sign that something may be wrong. Chronic fatigue. Now, here's the thing with the ketogenic diet. So although you get more energy, more calories from a gram of fat, it takes a lot longer for your body to mobilize fat stores as energy. So understand that in the beginning, especially if you are working out with this, once you enter ketosis, there's going to be a short period of time where you are going to be, you may feel exhausted and you may feel fatigued. The other thing that could potentially happen, again, if you are working out, is that you will start to see a decrease in your performance because the fat is not as readily accessible to you as you taking in carbs and all of that. So because it takes longer, it's going to take a little bit longer for you to have access to that energy. Now, if this chronic fatigue is lasting more than a few days, then now we have a problem. And by a few days, so let's start here. If it takes you about 3 to 4 days to get into ketosis, let's say it takes you 4 days to get into ketosis, you start on Sunday. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. By Wednesday, you should roughly be in ketosis. Okay. Now, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and maybe into that following Sunday, you will experience some fatigue, because again, it takes a lot longer for you to mobilize fat stores for energy. Okay. Now, if you get into the following week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and you are still experiencing chronic fatigue, then it may be time to take a step back. All right. And I'm giving you this information because a lot of people who have never been on a diet like this before, who have never had guidance, are getting these PDF documents. They're listening to people on Facebook, listening to people on these videos, and they're jumping straight into this diet without being monitored, without any type of education, and they don't understand the warning signs, and it could cause some issues for you down the road. One of the things that's important to understand is that although you may not see issues now, you may experience some issues later. So again, going through this diet, it's very important that you monitor yourself and you pay attention to these warning signs. If you are vomiting and you have not eaten anything that you know is going to be giving you food poisoning, then that is a warning sign. If you're having trouble breathing or excessive pains in your stomach that are not associated with hunger, that don't go away with hunger, those are warning signs as well. If you start to feel confusion and or your breath begins to smell like fruit, it is time for you to see a medical professional. It is time for you to go to the doctor. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, you know what, she's taking this too far and it's not even really that big of a deal. But when your breath starts to smell like fruit and you have not been eating fruit, right? Because typically on the ketogenic diet, you're going to decrease the amount of fruit that you're taking in, right? Because it's high in sugar and carbs and all of those other kinds of things, right? So if your breath is smelling like fruit and you are not eating fruit, that is a problem. And I don't care what PDF you read. I don't care what fitness guru person, whatever you talk to, that is a problem. And it's something that you need to pay attention to. Okay. So I know, that was kind of, in your face. I'm one of those people that, what you see is what you get. If you don't like in your face type content, then you might not even want to listen to me if you're like super, super sensitive. It is what it is. Like I've tried to change it, but whatever. I am who I am. All right. So now let's talk about how to do this safely. Okay. If you are going to be, because one of the things you also need to understand is that a high fat diet is also associated with a low carb diet, right? Because fat is 9 calories per gram, whereas carbs and protein are only 4 calories per gram. Okay. So understand that you're doing high fat, low carb, and there's going to be some issues associated with that. So with that being said, you want to make sure that you're not doing, it's the same thing on the video that I said that I said last night. You don't want to do this for more than 8 to 12 weeks at a time. It's not something that you want to do for more than 8 to 12 weeks at a time. And if you are going to embark upon a ketogenic diet, it is something you are going to have to be consistent. You are going to have to at least put in the 8 weeks if you want to start to see the results that you are looking for. But it is important to note that you should not jump into the ketogenic diet unless everything else has not worked. What does that mean? That means that if you are on a structured metabolism-based meal plan, not a meal plan that you pulled from the internet, not a meal plan that your personal trainer, spit out from their software. And let me go ahead and make a sidebar right here, just really quickly, just to give you this little piece of information for people who don't know. A lot of these personal trainers who are telling you that they're giving you customized meal plans for like $15, $20, $50, they're doing it for free, whatever the situation may be. They're not really customized meal plans. Anybody can purchase a software from anywhere from $99 to $350. And what the software allows you to do is it allows you to enter in the metrics for whoever that client is. And what it does is it collects data, and there's an algorithm that's used and all that other kind of stuff. So there's all of these data from people who have metrics that are similar to yours, who may have wanted to have been on a weight loss plan. So the software would collect all of that data, and there's an algorithm that is used, and then from there it spits out a meal plan for you. Okay, so if that's what your personal trainer is using, or if that's what your nutritionist is using, that is not a properly structured metabolism-based meal plan. Okay, so I say this to say that some people will say, I tried this and it didn't work, but did you really try it, and did you really try it the right way? So what does this mean? This means that if you are exercising at least 5 to 7 hours per week, and you are on a properly structured metabolism-based meal plan that you have followed with at least 90% compliance, preferably 100, but we know we live in the real world, right? So that you have followed with at least 90% compliance, and you have not seen any results, okay, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks in a row, but you have been sticking to this, and you have been adamant about sticking to it, and you have not deviated, you have done everything right, then if that is the case, you may want to consider doing the ketogenic diet, properly monitored by a professional. Okay, now I'm going to tell you, because I am not a medical professional, if you are a diabetic or if you are pregnant, don't even do it. Now, if you are under the guidance of a physician, then whatever you and your physician discuss, if he or she is gonna monitor you, and there's a special process that they can use to make sure that you don't die, then definitely go with what your physician says. But if you're out here doing this on your own and you're diabetic or you're pregnant, this is definitely not something that you want to do. And if you have never done this before, you're not diabetic and you're not pregnant, but you've never done this before, I would advise that you at least seek out the help of a nutritionist, or a personal trainer who has been trained as a weight loss coach and has been trained in weight loss nutrition. Okay. All right. So here's how this is going to work. Okay. If you remember, if you've watched some of the previous videos, there was a video that I did on how to create your own fat loss diet. And one of the first things that I told you to do was to take your body weight and multiply it by 10. It's just a rough number, but it's a number that anybody can use. You're going to take your body weight, you're going to multiply that by 10. That's going to give you the number of calories that you should be eating per day. And again, this is for people who are using the ketogenic diet as a form of weight loss, and loss of body fat. Take your body weight and multiply that by 10. Okay. Now, since this is a very low carb diet as well, you're only going to be getting 10 to 15% of your calories from carbohydrates. Okay, from grams and carbohydrates. And remember what I said at the beginning of the video, that you begin to put yourself in ketosis when you're eating less than 50 grams of carbs per day. And I said, oh, well, that's a cup of yogurt. It's true, but I'm going to show you. So the few carbs that you can get, that you can eat, you want to make sure that you are getting those from green vegetables. Why? Because green vegetables are high volume. I apologize. They are high volume, low calorie, low carbohydrate foods. What does that mean? That means that you can eat a lot of them and still be within your metrics. And you can help to keep yourself full, okay? If you do not use this technique, I am telling you right now, you are going to be hungry, and you are going to be very irritable, and you're not going to be a very happy person. Now, there is a point in ketosis where, in the process where ketosis kind of works as an appetite suppressant, right? And then you feel not as hungry. But in the beginning, especially for people who are not used to this, you are going to feel hungry if you don't use this technique. So I'm going to give you an example. For example, one whole cup of green beans is only 7 grams of carbs. So what does that mean? That means that you could eat 5 to 6 cups of green beans and still not exceed 50 grams of carbohydrates. What else does that mean for you? That means that if you plan your meals properly, you could still have 5 to 6 meals per day. You just need to plan them properly, and maybe each meal would have a cup of green beans in it for your carbohydrates. All right. So that's a technique that you can use. I promise you, if you don't use that technique, it's not going to be fun. If you try to do this diet and you say, well, you know what, I love rice and I love potatoes. I mean, go ahead and see how you feel with a couple of spoonfuls of rice for the entire day. You know, just kind of get back at me and let me know how that works for you. You could do it and it would give you the same result, but in terms of, you know, how you feel, and how you're able to maneuver through this process, it's going to be very, very, very uncomfortable because you are going to be hungry. Your belly is not going to be full. If you take a cup of green beans along with whatever other foods you have for your meals, those green beans or those green vegetables, whatever your green vegetable of choice is going to be, they're going to help to fill up that belly because of the volume. All right. So remember that you're looking for volume. All right. Okay, now 30 to 35% of your diet should come from proteins. Here is a suggestion that I'm going to make. Again, you want to, what's the best? I mean, you could do this with animal proteins, and you could. I would encourage that you do a mix of the two, because again, a mix between animal proteins and plant-based proteins as well. And the reason for that, again, is simply for volume. Okay. This is completely different. If you've never done this before, you're not going to be used to it. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to make sure that you fill up your belly. Okay. So that you're a little bit more comfortable going through the process. All right. And then after that, about 55 to 60% of your diet should come from fats. Now, if you watched the very first video, then you will understand that it has to be a balanced fat. You have to have a balanced fat profile, which means that you're going to have unsaturated fats. You're going to have polyunsaturated fats, and you're going to have monounsaturated fats as well. So if you're going to balance that out, so it's like 33, 33, and 33. Okay. Now, again, if you want to know the reasons for having all three of those fats, what a balanced fat profile looks like and all that kind of stuff, go back to the first video of this particular lecture or series or whatnot, and you'll be able to get a detailed discussion on exactly what that means. Okay. Now, if you are going to do this, I would suggest giving yourself a carb refeed at least once a week, maybe at the end of the week, or at least bi-weekly. Let me explain something to you. Anybody who is telling you that they are living their entire lives on a ketogenic diet without a carb refeed is lying. He or she is either lying to you, or they are ignoring some of those warning signs that come along the way. Because understand that your body can only maintain that state for a period of time without things going wrong. Because you have to understand that by utilizing the ketogenic diet, you are offsetting the balance of macronutrients that your body is supposed to take in. And anytime you offset that balance, there are going to be some challenges that you have to be prepared for, that you have to overcome, that you have to understand. Okay. So if you're going to do this and you're going to get through this in a healthy fashion, make sure, and when I say a carb refeed, what that means is that you have at least one day, either weekly or bi-weekly, either every week or every 2 weeks, where you are eating a higher amount of carbs than you normally would. Now, somebody is going to ask, well, won't that take me out of ketosis? Absolutely, it will. But again, remember, it takes about 3 to 4 days to put yourself back into ketosis. What you're trying to do is you're trying to accommodate for the imbalance that is taking place with your body, because at the end of the day, carbs are your body's preferred source of food. They are your body's preferred source of energy. They are easier to access. They are easier to break down. And so regardless of what your aesthetic goals are, understand that your body has a job to do, and your physiology doesn't really care about the fact that you want to walk around at 8% body fat. So always remember that, right? Because at the end of the day, you should be looking at this from a long-term perspective in terms of your total fitness, health, and wellness, and not just for this short specific period of time where you're just wanting to get to be 8% body fat or 2% body fat, and you want to hold on to that for the rest of your life. Okay. Now, here's something else that you can do. These, I'll take one out here, but once I take it out, I won't be able to put it back in. These are little ketone strips. Okay. You can buy these. I bought these at the CVS, I think, or the Walgreens, one of the two. And I don't remember how much they are. I want to say they were about $5 or $6, but there's these little strips. Okay. And what you do is you urinate on them, kind of like a pregnancy test. And there's this little, I don't know if you can see that, but this little fuzzy piece right here. And when you urinate on it and wait for a few minutes, it's going to change colors. Okay. A moderate amount of ketones in your bloodstream or in your urine is going to be fine. It's going to be okay. If you get to the point to where you are consistently at the large range, then it may be time to take a step back. It may be time to take a step back. And if you notice that you are in the large range for an extended period of time, like a few days, you may want to go ahead and consult your physician and just make sure that everything is going okay with your body. Okay. So moderate amount of ketones is fine. But when you get to the large and the extra large amount of ketones, then that's where you could potentially start to have a problem. But these are things that you can do on your own at home. You don't need a prescription to buy these. They're right there in CVS or Walgreens. And this is a way for you to kind of monitor what's going on with you. So, if you know me, you know that the Becoming a Stronger You movement is all about making sure that people learn to take complete responsibility for their fitness, health, and their wellness. And part of that is knowing when to assess yourself and how often to assess yourself. As a matter of fact, I would venture off to say that after that 3 to 4 day time period, when you are actually into ketosis, I would use one of these strips every time I go to the bathroom. Okay. Every time you go to the bathroom, you should be using one of those strips just to make sure that you are not bordering on the line of ketoacidosis. Okay. So there you have it. I have defined ketosis. I have given you some basic information on the ketogenic diet. And we've talked about the risk factors and what it is that you can do to make this thing safe for yourself. So I always tell people, verify whatever information it is that you need to verify. You can read it, you can Google it, it's everywhere. It's going to be pretty much congruent with what I said. But if you decide to embark upon a ketogenic diet, it is extremely important that you understand these concepts and that you do this in a safe way, because there's a lot of information being given out there and it's just not safe. Okay. So as always, if you enjoy the content and you find value in this information, please like, share, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that. If you have any questions about any of the content that I have presented tonight, you can meet me on Twitter at A Stronger You. That's ASTRONGERU, the letter U. All right. That's where I'm at on Twitter. And you can also connect with me on Facebook at /A Stronger You Fitness. So A Stronger You, just like my Twitter name, and then fitness on the end. You can also reach out to me on Snapchat. And I believe, let me figure out what my Snapchat is, because this is all new to me. Yeah. I'm just starting to mess around with all this other kind of stuff. So who am I on Snapchat? I can't remember if I'm ASU Fit or A Stronger You, but we're about to figure it out. Okay. ASU Fit. AS is in Sam, UFIT. All right. That's who I am on Snapchat. So again, like, share, subscribe, leave me some comments. Let me know what it is that you guys think. All right. So I have got to get out of here. Thank you so much for watching. And until I talk to you again, stay strong, stay beautiful, and always, always, always work towards becoming a stronger you. Peace out.